Okay, let's mix it up.
All right, I got high hopes.
Chris Christie's speech last night about indicting Hillary Clinton, where he basically put her on trial and had a bloodthirsty crowd, a mob.
When you said mix it up, I was kind of hoping you would bake a cake for your boss, but I guess that'd be just too savage to watch.
Declare her guilty was one of the few times last night that the crowd really got excited. They absolutely loved it. But it turns out there's a few problems with that speech, and especially the messenger. Now,
Ooh, I can't wait. Now, I haven't seen past the speech that Chris Christie gave, but I'm going to take a lucky guess beforehand. Right now, they're going to bring up some kind of an ad hominem. They're going to bring up a false equivalency. And they're going to somehow wrap in, I'm going to say, Black Lives Matter or slavery. One of those two. Let's see. Those are my three predictions. Am I correct?
in case you don't remember, we want to catch you up. Here's a quick little section of that speech.
Now, here's what we're going to do. We're going to present the facts to you. You, tonight, sitting as a jury of her peers, I'm going to present the case now on the facts against Hillary Rodham Clinton as a failure for...
Dang. We got to miss out on a crapload of content. Oh well. I guess that takes away the bulk of what he's saying. But I guess we can go without knowing the massive amount of speech that he gave. Sure.
ruining Libya and creating a nest for terrorist activity by ISIS. Answer me now. Is she guilty or not guilty? As an apologist for an Al-Qaeda affiliate in Nigeria, resulting in the capture of innocent young women, is she guilty or not guilty? Is she guilty or not guilty? As an awful judge of the character of a dictator and butcher in the Middle East, is she guilty or not guilty? Is she guilty or not guilty?
And everybody wants an enthusiastic crowd, but you should care a little bit about what they're chanting.
You skipped over his entire case, but I'm going to take a lucky guess and say that he presented a decent enough case for them to want to lock her up. I'm not sure what's wrong with locking a person up if they break the law. That's for the court to decide. But there's nothing wrong with chanting, lock her up. It's not like they're chanting, burn her, burn her. Am I wrong? Probably.
And what they're chanting for. But I do like the image of him in particular standing up there just saying guilty over and over and over again. It has a certain Nixonian vibe to it that
I would actually think the exact opposite. I'm pretty sure it would be much closer if he was saying innocent over and over, because after all, Nixon was not a crook.
I really like. I know you found that to be ironic last night.
So, first of all, I found it to be vicious. I thought that was that kind of mob mentality I haven't seen in a long time. They've unleashed some things here at the Republican convention that'll be hard to put back in the bottle. So, getting that mob getting them riled up like that.
Mobs generally want to kill people. They want to lock her up. Does this count as a false equivalence? Whatever. We'll see.
They said Bernie Sanders hit her too hard. I mean, what an outrageous and ridiculous proposition now. Look at what they're doing. I mean, then, later in the show, we're going to have a story about somebody now, one of the Republican state leaders in New Hampshire, saying she should be shot. Well, this is what they're going to, lock her.
I don't think anyone is proposing the death penalty or trying to incite violence. You are proposing that they are committing a crime, Jank. Are you sure you want to continue with this line of reasoning? I don't think that will be a very good idea.
Lock her up. Guilty, guilty, guilty. I mean, this is a frightening, frightening turn in American politics. And it's they complain about how Black Lives Matter instigates violence. Are you kidding me? Can you imagine if Black Lives Matter got up there and said, now what do you think about the cops in Minnesota? And they all chanted, guilty, right? How about the ones in Baton Rouge? Guilty, right? They would come back and go, oh my God, inciting violence, right? Now, but they do it against Hillary Clinton and they think, yeah, rah, rah. And now, the irony. Chris Christie, one of his top aides, was just announced guilty last week. He pled guilty as one of the scandals that arose out of the original Bridge King.
All right, I think that counts for the ad hominem. And I'm not sure how one person being guilty does not make another person guilty. That just, they can both be guilty at the same time. I'm confused by what you're saying.
Felony counts of conspiracy. And there were multiple other people that had to resign because of their involvement in the incident with the bridge, and also their attempts to hide the fact that they've been involved. That led to multiple people's careers ending.
That particular guy pled guilty because they had him dead to rights. He was put in charge of transportation authority there, and he got United to give him a flight that was almost not used by almost anyone else, almost always empty, and because it went to a place near his vacation home in South Carolina. It was called the Chairman's Flight, named after him.
It wasn't even that close to the vacation home, by the way. It was a real waste for everybody.
Well, you got to drive in South Carolina to get anywhere. So now that is a case of political corruption at its core.
Yeah, sorry for letting that run for too long. It went nowhere. I let him run his train of thought, and no, there's no real connection. Chris Christie is bad, therefore Clinton cannot also be bad, is about as close as I can come to their line of reasoning. Oh well, I guess we can accept that. We should never accept that.
And by the way, the CEO of United resigned over that. It was a scandal that affected the company as well. And so here's a guy who, that's one of his top lieutenants, did this kind of political corruption and said, you know what, raised his hand and said, I'm guilty. Yeah. And he comes out there and does that speech.
And that.
Yeah, I don't think he said it with that tone of voice, Jake. That was cringeworthy. No one enjoyed listening to you say guilty like that. I don't even think anyone can recreate it. I'm sorry. You're wrong because you said it like that, Jake. Everything you've ever said is wrong because you have said guilty in that way. It's just that bad.
And that's the scandal that gets talked about the most. But of course, there are others. I mean, we've done videos about the fact that he used pieces of the Twin Towers as basically gifts that he would give away to people that he liked in office. There was the pillaging of pension funds, which of course, long term, is far more consequential than shutting down a couple lanes of the bridge, even though that was declared a threat to public safety.
Jesus Christ, do you do anything other than a ad hominem attack on this guy? Yes, he's not perfect. He's not even good.
He used Hurricane Sandy as a way to hand out political gifts to people who had donated to his campaign, to companies. There was real estate deals that were done in places that had not been affected by Hurricane Sandy at all, but those were donors that were giving him money. And then parts of New Jersey were devastated by Hurricane Sandy, but their local mayors did not pay homage to Chris Christie, so he punished them by not giving them Hurricane Sandy funding that they absolutely needed. This guy is a scumbag. Okay, you know what Chris Christie is? Guilty. Who uses memorabilia from 9/11, actual, like, the rubble from 9/11 for political favors and to give to donors and other lieutenants of his? What a sick, demented guy.
Yes, he was morally reprehensible. Therefore, what? In case you guys forgot, we're talking about the corruption of Hillary Clinton. I think they are trying to make us forget that, actually. So let's just keep that in mind.
And he's the one leading the guilty charge against Hillary Clinton. But that right there's the...
Thank you for bringing us back. I am actually happy that you did that. I spoke too soon, and I'm not going to edit that out. Good job, Jake.
Epitome of the Republican Party. Hypocrisy and gross, barbaric calls out that their audience loves.
And like in a figurative sense, using the rubble of 9/11 in politics, as they've done for the last 15 years anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and thankfully, while many people in the room liked all of those lines, there are some Republicans who, because they're opposed to Trump, were willing to speak out against this. So Jeff Flake, who said that he couldn't be at the convention because he had to mow his lawn, he tweeted, "Hillary Clinton now belongs in prison. Come on, we can make the case that she shouldn't be elected without jumping the shark." And that got over 1,000 retweets, which gives me a little bit of hope for the Republicans.
Yeah. Strange, that guy.
Yeah, something's wrong with Jeff Flake.
Yeah, something's wrong with Jeff. Yeah.
No, and...
that silence was a little bit awkward. Is it he were a Republican who you cannot instantly slander as racist? Weird. They exist?
Look, credit where credit is due. That's a Republican that is being reasonable. I know that it has to do with this electoral politics in Arizona.
But,
and
it should, in a way, he's been reasonable about this stuff and Trump for more than just his electoral politics.
He's not up right now.
Another lovely video produced by the Young Turks. I'm sorry that you had to put up with my rambling for the past few minutes, as well as their rambling. Yeah, have a nice day, and if you have any suggestions, please leave a comment. I will gladly take any help I can get.